Now when you come up here to speak, the question I want to ask you is, do you worry about whether the people will listen to you or not? Do you worry about it? I'm sure you do. Many of us are afraid when we come up here whether we will do a good job on the speeches. Will the people around us get bored? Will they go to sleep? Or will they be distracted by what we say? Now, it is a fear that all of us have. It is not uncommon. Everyone has the same situation. Everyone comes up here, they are nervous, and they really wish they do a good job, and they hope they do not make a disaster of it. And many times it may happen in the beginning that you may actually make a disaster of the thing you are speaking. But I would say, don't be discouraged. This is a place where you can make mistakes. Okay, you can make mistakes, and you can learn from it. And there are people here to encourage you, to help you to learn. What my wife covered as scripture in Ecclesiastes is a good scripture, because we support each other, we strengthen each other, and together as a group we do. That's how it works. Okay, I'll give you the story of a very well-known speaker by the name of Max Lucado. As a matter of fact, he's a very good author. He wrote many good books, as well as he's a very good speaker. But what he tells about his life when he was in college, when he was just a fresher, he had no idea, never spoke before much, and he didn't consider himself a very good communicator. In fact, he wasn't a very good communicator in those days. He was in college and he was learning, and in those days what used to happen, as it happens even today, the students who are studying in Christian colleges, or rather in theological colleges, will be invited by pastors in the surrounding area to speak to their congregation at time from time to time. When I was in college also learning theology, I was invited to several churches to speak, especially to the elderly. And the elderly are the best people to speak to, because they have all the time in the world. They are older people, and they look at this young person like their own child, and they have that same kind of feeling, towards them. Okay, we're not going to get the very best of speaking here. Okay, these people are novices, but we know, we have had our children, maybe grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren. They are tolerant, and they are encouraging, and very helpful to the person who is going to speak. So anyway, this Max Lucado, actually his friend was going to speak in one of these kind of meetings. So this Max decided to go along with him and accompany him and encourage him in his speech. So when they reached there, this young man got up to speak, and after speaking for 3 minutes, he ran out of gas. You know what I mean? He didn't know what to say after. And everything that was to be said was said in just 3 minutes. He didn't know how long he had taken, of course. To him it may have been eternity, I don't know. But to him, when he spoke there, he actually took exactly 3 minutes. Then he started stuttering and stammering and waffling around, wondering what more to say. And then he sat down. And everyone sitting in there, who were the listeners there, were in shock, because they had expected him to speak for at least 15 to 20 minutes, and he finished his speech in 3 minutes. Anyhow, Max Lucado, he drove back home to his college campus, and he told himself that I am not going to speak for 3 minutes. I'm going to definitely speak for 15 minutes, and I'm going to work very hard on my speech so that it becomes 15 minutes, whether in whatever way possible. So he thought about his speech, and after a while he had some 9 points that he had to cover. He said, okay, I'm fine now, I've got 9 points, I will go there and speak. So he went there the next week and he spoke, and he thought he did a very good job. Okay, he came off from there and he was engaged to a young lady, so he drove back with that young lady back to campus, and she was abnormally quiet. So after some time he asked her, how did I do in my speaking? And he had thought he had done very well. How did I do? He said, yes, fine, you did fine. She hesitated for a while. He said, yes, fine for the first time. So he felt very happy and encouraged about it. And he said, then he asked her very hesitantly, how long did I speak? Again, there was a really long pause, and then she replied, 55 minutes. And he was clueless that he had spoken 55. As a matter of fact, his audience realized that he didn't even know how long he had spoken, but they had taken 55 minutes. And he thought to himself, how boring my message would have been. I actually held, as a novice, I held this whole group of people captive by being a novice, and they had to listen to me for 55 minutes. People were not rude, so they did not get up and walk away. Otherwise, normally they would have done that. They should have done that. And he said they probably preferred the 3-minute dawn, we spoke earlier. So what he was trying to say is that he started off like that. He made big mistakes in his life when speaking, but with the practice that he got, he accomplished a lot, and today he is a well-accomplished speaker. And so can you be, so can every one of you. None of you should ever think that you are not capable of doing this. Anyone can do it. It's a matter of practice, it's a matter of being encouraged, a matter of guidance in order to be a good communicator. Mainly speaking makes you a good communicator. You are speaking all the time, whether in an audience like or one-on-one or with a group of people, you are speaking all the time. You can become a good speaker, and the better you become in speaking, the more better you will be as a leader, wherever you may go. Your relationships, you will be able to build relationships and do a good job for it, in it. So, with it. So, how can you be a good speaker? Let us look at some interesting things that we can cover. But before that, let me read you a quote from the philosopher poet Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, all great speakers were bad speakers first. All great speakers were bad speakers first. So realize that when it doesn't matter how you start or where you start or at what level you start. The main thing, important thing is what you will achieve, what you will become. That's more important than where you start. If you really look into the lives of some of the accomplished speakers, there is one accomplished speaker by the name of Dr. Phil McGraw. He's a psychologist who helped lawyers and trial consultants and began to advise people on life, love and relationships. This philosopher. And there was also another man similar to him by the name of Dr. Mehmet Oz. He spoke on health issues. And you know how they came to that position of being so popular? Is because they came on the Oprah Winfrey show at some time. And Oprah Winfrey spoke about them. She acts like a toastmaster in some ways. She speaks about the accomplishments of the people that come up there, and she interviews. And if she says that person is good, everybody originally thinks that person is good. Okay, this is what celebrities' power is. They look at these people, and then the credibility of the person who is a total stranger to them becomes credible because of the credibility of someone else. So, if you want people to listen to you, you need to have relationships. Who you know is very important. The relationships are very important. We have talk shows here in India also. This Coffee with Karan, and there are a few other people. What does that do when you sit, the audience sits there and watch these people? They know them in the films, how they act. They don't know how they behave in real life. When they come over there, they are asked questions where they can answer almost impromptu from real life. And they become more personable, isn't it? When you see them speak about their life, or speak about their family and stuff like that, they become more personable. And that gives you a much more better picture of them than what you see in the films. The films does not give you the right picture about those people. You get a better picture here. Now, when you go, let's say you are invited to speak before a big audience, you are a total stranger to them, and people don't care what is your educational qualification or your background. They really don't care about that. It is the relationships that you have built. One of the best ways to be able to make people listen to you is come a little early and talk to the people you meet. Wish them, talk to them, ask them questions, and you answer their questions. You know what happens is you have built a relationship. When you go up there, they want to listen to you. They say this person is somebody who will want to listen. One important point is build relationships with your audience, and they will want to listen to you. The second is insight. What you know is important. People want to improve in their life situation, and if they think that you know more than they do, they want to listen to you. Now, it doesn't mean that you actually know more than they do. But the very fact that you are able to present yourself in a manner that is meaningful, they want to listen. They want to listen. They want to learn. There was a man in history by the name of Benjamin Franklin. Believe it or not, he had only 2 years of school education. Just 2 years of school education. Actually, you would call him an illiterate person. But he was considered, he was a founding father of the US, a very successful person, highly respected because of his knowledge and his keen insight. Where did he get that knowledge and his keen insight? By reading books. He taught himself. He was remarkable in many areas of life, in printing and publishing, in politics, in civil activism, in science and in diplomacy. He was good at all these things. He was an innovator and an inventor. Secured the support of France during the Revolutionary War. The first public library in America was founded by him. He served as president of the American Philosophical Society and helped to draft the Declaration of Independence. This man was uneducated, believe it or not, and he was able to do so much. People want to know. You have that ability to learn, to be self-taught. You get an insight, and people want to know you more. They want to listen to you, and they want to learn because they think that if you can make a success, they better learn something from you, and they'll become a success also. And the third goes to the third point, is the point of success. What have you done? Now, when Benjamin Franklin came up there to speak, people wanted to listen to him because he was successful. And what you say, why do people worship celebrities? Because they think they are successful. They think they made a lot of money and that wouldn't have come easy. They think they have got their popularity and that wouldn't have come easy. You want to know how they have got their success and you want it too. So they become an idol to you. Only when you actually see their real life, sometimes it could disappoint you. It could disappoint you. Cricketers, now we have seen the scam that is taking place. Cricketers, would you ever believe that these cricketers will do what they did? Now people believe in them. They actually root for them when they go up there and play. When they play on this thing, you watch on TV or something. You say, wow, what a great cricketer! Spoiling their lives because of their belief. It's so sad to see that actually that can happen because they have got success, but there's only one way to get success: the right way, not the wrong way. Wrong way, if you try to get success or make money the wrong way, in the long run, it will not pay. These people are going to lose their popularity, those ones who are caught, lose even all their money because of what they have done. Success, it should be true success, and we should look for that. People listen to people who are successful. Ability, what you can do. Now, what you have done is one thing, what you can do is important. This golfer Tiger Woods, after he lost part of his fame because of some of the things he'd done, he was the most famous man at one time, the best golfer, and was considered in the world as the most marketable athlete. Fortune estimated that Wood received more than $100 million in endorsements in the year 2007. More than 100 million endorsements. And you know what? This man endorsed everything from sports drink to management consulting. He endorsed everything. Did he know anything about these things? No, it didn't matter. He was considered an idol. And so he could play good golf. And so if he could play good golf, obviously in the minds of people could be good at everything. Okay. Even though he isn't. One of the products he promoted was the Buick Rendezvous. It's one of the great cars, the Buick Rendezvous. Wood was not an expert in cars. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Buick Rendezvous. Okay. He's not an expert in cars. He doesn't know much about cars, but he played good golf. And if he could endorse that car, everyone should buy, that kind of thing, if you can afford it. So, what you can do is also important. People listen to people who know what they are doing. And they are good, they excel in that particular field. And the last and final reason why people will listen to you is sacrifice. How you have lived. Now, a very good example of that is Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is respected and has the years, or had the years, of all the leaders in the world. She could speak and everyone would listen to her. You know why? Because people admire people who can sacrifice themselves and sacrifice their lives for others. This poor, diminutive school teacher who lived in the slums of India was considered somebody worth listening to. Another great man who people wanted to listen to was Mahatma Gandhi, a person who was willing to sacrifice his career and his life for the freedom of this country. There are a lot of other people like that. There is something about someone who is willing to sacrifice themselves. And even in this club, you want to do well in speaking, you should be willing to sacrifice yourself, to do well, to do everything that is needed to speak, or in any other part of your life. You put your heart into it, you will succeed. And if you are willing to sacrifice in order to succeed, you will succeed. That's the way it works in life. People admire people who are willing to sacrifice everything for the vision that they have. They have a vision and they move towards it and willing to sacrifice anything for it. So just remember these 5 important principles. If we just begin to work on these principles, we will become accomplished speakers and people will want to listen to us. Okay, with that we will end this club. You got your assignments. Please remember your assignments because I don't remember them. And if you are unable to, for some reason or other, to come to club, again I appreciate. I didn't know what Regis was going to do an assignment at this club, but he did his best and he somehow made it here in spite of the difficulties he was having. Try to be here in club. Do the very best you can. If by any chance you cannot, call somebody else and ask him to do your job for you. Don't wait for me to, you call me fine, but don't wait for me to try to find someone else to do the job you are doing. And if someone does come contact you and say, please help me with this, I am unable to come this time for a club, please help me and do this. Remember the message I gave in the morning, be ready to help, help and encourage others. So if that happens, do that. But let us not allow the club to suffer. Okay, we have enough people to speak. All the assignments are taken care of, and we all come here and do a good job. Again, fantastic job done by everyone. All of you deserve a big clap. So, we'll see you at the next class.